Welcome to the Ultimate General Hospital channel, where every episode delivers secrets, danger, and chaos. These days, I find myself thinking about Ethan and the fresh troubles swirling around him like a storm that just won't let up. It feels so personal after all these years of cheering for characters who become like family. Ethan has always had that restless spirit, but right now, everything points to him standing on the edge of something big. I remember how he used to navigate the dangers with a certain charm, yet this new chapter shows him ready to make a real escape from Port Charles. The signs are there in every tense glance and hurried conversation we have seen lately. What strikes me most is how this trouble proves that the old patterns are breaking. Ethan is not just dodging minor issues anymore. He is facing pressure that feels explosive, and it all ties back to Cullum's increasingly bold moves. Cullum has always been a force, but lately his actions are building like a fire that spreads faster than anyone can control. I have watched enough storylines to recognize when a character shifts from background player to central threat, and Cullum is doing exactly that. He is leaning hard on Ethan and Phoebe, creating this web of complications that keeps me on the edge of my seat during every episode. Phoebe, bless her heart, seems caught right in the middle. And her strength in these moments reminds me why I have loved this show for so long. The way she holds her own while facing Cullum's pressure shows real growth, something the writers have handled beautifully. One thing I keep coming back to is how this new trouble with Ethan connects so tightly to Cullum's outbursts. It is not random chaos. It feels deliberate, like the story is proving that old debts and hidden secrets refuse to stay buried in Port Charles. I have my own theory here, and I might be wrong, but after years of following the hospital dramas and family feuds, I believe Ethan's readiness to escape is his way of protecting more than just himself. He sees the explosion coming from Cullum's side, and rather than wait for it to consume everything, he is preparing adjustments that could change the whole game. What if those special people he plans to bring back are the key to turning the tide? I ask myself that very question after the latest scenes, and the more I think about it, the more sense it makes. Bringing them in would not only shift the power balance, but also reopen old wounds in the most compelling way. It keeps the story alive and reminds us why we tune in week after week. I have to admit, as someone who has seen countless characters try to run from their past, Ethan's situation feels different this time. It carries real weight because of how it involves Phoebe and the mounting pressure from Cullum. Cullum's actions are not subtle anymore. They are direct and intense, pushing Ethan toward decisions that could either save him or pull everyone down with him. I find myself rooting for Ethan even when his choices seem risky. That is the magic of General Hospital, isn't it? It lets us feel invested in flawed people who keep fighting. My personal view is that Ethan's new adjustment will prove to be his smartest move yet. He is not running blindly. He is calculating, and the evidence from recent episodes supports that. The quiet moments where he seems to weigh his options show a depth we have not always seen before. Of course, this makes me wonder what comes next for Phoebe. Will she stand firmly by Ethan's side as he brings those special people back, or will Cullum's pressure create cracks in their connection? The story answers that tension quickly by showing her resilience, but it leaves just enough uncertainty to keep the excitement building. I love how the writers balance these questions with forward momentum. It never drags. Instead, it feels like the heat is rising every single day in Port Charles. Ethan preparing to adjust everything by bringing back key figures is exactly the kind of bold storytelling that has kept me watching through good times and challenging ones. It proves that even in the middle of trouble, hope and change are possible. Looking deeper, I see this plot as a reflection of larger themes the show has always done well: loyalty, redemption, and the cost of secrets. Cullum's explosive behavior is not just about power. It highlights how one person's anger can ripple out and affect so many lives. Ethan is feeling that ripple strongly now, and his plan to escape while making these adjustments feels like a necessary response. I have shared my thoughts with fellow longtime viewers, and many agree that this direction adds fresh energy. It differentiates from older storylines where characters stayed stuck in cycles. Here, Ethan is evolving, and that makes his journey compelling. Phoebe's involvement adds emotional layers that touch the heart. She is not just a supporting figure. She brings her own strength and vulnerability that makes every confrontation meaningful. Sometimes I sit back after an episode and marvel at how the show keeps surprising us. Will Ethan's escape attempt succeed before Cullum's pressure boils over completely? The recent scenes suggest he has a fighting chance, especially with those special people potentially returning to shake things up. That possibility excites me because it opens doors to new alliances and conflicts. As a devoted fan for so many years, I appreciate when the writers respect the history while pushing forward. Ethan's troubles feel earned, built on what came before, yet they introduce elements that keep everything feeling urgent and new. Cullum's role in all this cannot be overstated. His actions are driving the narrative in ways that make each episode must-watch television. I truly believe this storyline is heading toward some powerful revelations. Ethan, adjusting his path by bringing back those important connections, will likely force Cullum to react in even more dramatic fashion, keeping the tension high. Phoebe stands as a steady presence amid the chaos, and I cannot wait to see how her choices influence the outcome. For me, this is what makes General Hospital timeless. It delivers excitement without unnecessary harshness, focusing instead on human emotions and relationships that feel genuine. The evidence from the latest developments points clearly to major shifts ahead, and I am here for every moment of it. Thinking about the broader picture, Ethan's readiness to leave Port Charles while handling this new trouble shows real character growth. It is not an easy escape. It comes with risks and responsibilities, particularly with Cullum applying such intense pressure on both him and Phoebe. Yet that very pressure is what makes the story so gripping. It forces everyone to adapt quickly, and the writers handle these beats with skill. I have my opinions on whether Ethan can truly outmaneuver Cullum. And while part of me worries about the dangers, another part feels optimistic because of the adjustments he is preparing. Bringing special people back could be the turning point that changes alliances and reveals truths long hidden. This kind of storytelling keeps the show vibrant after all these years. It invites us to speculate and feel the excitement right alongside the characters. What will happen when those figures from the past re-enter the fold? How will Cullum respond to the shifting dynamics? The answers seem poised to arrive soon, and that anticipation is pure joy for a longtime viewer like me. I find myself smiling at the thought of future episodes because the foundation laid now is so strong. Ethan's troubles are real, but so is his determination. Phoebe's strength shines through, and Cullum's intensity raises the stakes beautifully. The news that Sasha and Holly will soon return to Port Charles feels like the spark that will ignite an explosive new wave of change. After all this time watching these characters, I know how powerfully their arrivals can shake everything up. Sasha has always brought a mix of warmth and resilience that lights up the screen, while Holly carries that clever, unpredictable energy we have come to love. Their homecoming is not just a simple reunion. It is setting the stage for shocks that will leave everyone reeling in the best possible way for longtime fans like me. This development ties directly into the growing dangers we are seeing with Cullum and Sidwell. Their new level of threat feels heavier than before, creating a sense of urgency that keeps me glued to each episode. Cullum's pressure continues to build, especially around Ethan and Phoebe, and now Sidwell adds another dangerous layer. I have my own thoughts on this, and while I might be reading between the lines a bit, the evidence from recent scenes suggests these two are forming a storm that could upend many lives. What will happen when Sasha and Holly step back into this volatile mix? I ask myself that very question, and the answer seems clear. Their return will force everyone to confront hidden truths and shifting loyalties faster than we expect. It makes the air in Port Charles feel electric with possibility. At the same time, Ethan's readiness for fresh adjustments shows real depth in his character. He has been navigating serious troubles, preparing to bring special people back, and make changes that could alter his path entirely. Now, with Ava becoming a hostage to Sidwell, the stakes rise even higher. This situation proves a new obsession is taking hold, one that darkens the mood and heightens every confrontation. Ava has always been a fighter with layers of complexity that make her compelling, and seeing her in this position breaks my heart, while also exciting me for the drama ahead. I believe Ethan's adjustments will become even more crucial now. He cannot ignore the danger Sidwell poses, especially as it touches people close to his world. Will his plans help protect those he cares about, or will they complicate things further? The story seems to lean toward the former, giving us hope amid the tension. The combination of Sasha and Holly's impending return with these new dangers creates such a rich tapestry. Everyone in Port Charles appears ready for the next big shock, and I love how the writers are building this momentum. Cullum and Sidwell together represent a formidable challenge, yet I remain optimistic because of the strength characters like Phoebe and Ava continue to show. Phoebe has been handling pressure with grace, and her connection to Ethan feels like an anchor in stormy waters. As Sasha and Holly arrive, I imagine they will bring fresh perspectives that challenge the obsessions driving Sidwell and perhaps even temper Cullum's explosive actions. In my many years of watching, I have learned that General Hospital excels at these moments of convergence. The return of beloved figures like Sasha and Holly does not simply add numbers to the cast. It reignites old stories and creates new ones that feel deeply personal. Ethan's adjustments, Ava's troubling hostage situation, and the dangers from Cullum and Sidwell all point toward major revelations just around the corner. I find myself wondering how these threads will weave together, but the recent hints suggest satisfying payoffs that honor the show's history while pushing forward boldly. This arc reminds me why I stay so passionately devoted. It balances high-stakes danger with emotional heart, never losing sight of the human connections that matter most. Sasha and Holly coming back will undoubtedly bring joy mixed with challenges, especially as Sidwell's obsession tightens its grip on Ava. Ethan stands ready to adapt, and that resilience inspires me as a viewer. I cannot wait to see how these explosive changes unfold, because Port Charles always finds a way to surprise us with hope, even in the darkest times. The shocks are coming, and I am here for every single one, heart full and eyes wide open.